Welcome to the Licensed Contractor Assistance Program, presented by the Nevada State Contractors Board. This online workshop is designed to guide you through making changes to your Nevada contractor's license. We'll cover the proper steps to take when updates occur, including raising your monetary limit, modifying your license classification, or updating personnel on your license. We'll also go over application fees and important Nevada laws that impact your license. During this program, you'll learn how to access important materials, including downloadable forms and applications available on the board's website. Please note that the participant audio and video will remain disabled during the presentation. Questions will be answered at the end, and you can also submit questions using the chat feature throughout. We ask that all participants remain respectful. Disruptive behavior may result in removal. Before we begin, please note that this presentation provides general information and legal guidelines, but it is not legal advice. Laws and regulations may change, so for specific situations, you should consult an attorney or review Nevada Revised Statutes Chapter 624 and Nevada Administrative Code Chapter 624. Thank you for taking the time to ensure you're complying with Nevada law. Holding a contractor's license is a significant responsibility, and we appreciate your commitment. Please remember the Nevada State Contractors Board does not recommend third-party application assistance services. Information provided by a third-party service cannot be relied upon to be accurate. Please contact our staff for any questions regarding your license. If you need assistance, you can contact the board by email, phone, mail, or in person at the Southern Nevada office in Las Vegas or the Northern Nevada office in Reno. All forms and applications can be found on the Nevada State Contractors Board website under Forms and Applications. This tab will include our various change forms accessible on our website. If your contact information changes, you must notify the board in writing within 30 days. Our change of address form is used to modify your personal and/or business address, phone number, and email address. There is no fee attached to this application. The form must be signed by a principal on the license for the changes to take effect. You may submit this form through mail, email, or in person. To add or remove principals, you may submit the Change or Add a Corporate Officer application with a $250 application fee within 30 days. This form is required if you're adding or removing principals from a license, corporate officers on an existing corporate license, members and managers of an existing LLC, or partners in a limited partnership. This form is not used to change or add qualified individuals on a licensed entity. Please be advised all principals, CMS qualifiers, and trade qualifiers are responsible for any complaints received on a license. To add or change a qualified individual, the change of qualifier application must be submitted with a $250 application fee. This form cannot be used to change the principals of a license or change a licensed entity. Again, please be advised that all principals, CMS qualifiers, and trade qualifiers are responsible for any complaints received on a license. If a qualified individual leaves, the board requires a notice within 10 days. The disassociation of a qualified individual is used for the resignation or disassociation of a qualified individual. The change of qualifier application is not required if you're only removing a qualified individual. There is no fee required for this application. You may submit a name change application with a $250 fee if your legal business name has been changed with the Secretary of State or if you will be adding or removing a fictitious firm name known as a DBA. Our broadening of classification is used to add subclassifications to an existing license. This form may not be used to add a separate primary classification. You may only broaden within the scope of your license. A $250 application fee will also be required. A conversion of entity consists of the conversion of a business organization's filing with the Nevada Secretary of State. Pursuant to Chapter 92A of NRS, this application must be submitted before or within 30 days after such conversion is made. The change is primarily used in scenarios of filing a switch from an LLC to a corporation or a corporation to an LLC. Sole proprietorships may not utilize this application to change their entity filing to an LLC or corporation. Instead, they must submit a new contractor's license application. The monetary limit is the maximum value a contractor may charge their client per contract. You may not bid a project that exceeds your monetary limit per NRS 624.640. The raise and limit application may be used to raise your monetary limit. With this, a bond adjust must be required for the higher limit to take effect. If you have questions about NRS 624.640 regarding monetary limits on a license, you're welcome to call our customer service line and request to speak with a compliance officer. Once again, our permanent raise and limit application will allow you to increase your monetary limit. Please note that a $250 application fee and financial statements will be required for each application. The type of financial statement required is based on the limit requested. You may use indemnification for this process, and a bank verification form is no longer required. Our single project is a one-time limit increase designated for an upcoming project. The application fee is $75, and the submittal for this application is limited to 5 one-time increases per calendar year. Please note with this application, a financial statement will be required for each application. The type of financial statement required is based on the limit requested. You may use indemnification, and a bank verification form is no longer required. If you're looking to reduce your classification, there's no application form available for this request. However, you may submit a written and signed request with a $250 fee for this adjustment to take place. Financial statements are also required for this process. The type of financial statement required is based on the limit requested. Indemnification may be used for this process as well, and a bank verification form is no longer required. A certificate of eligibility to receive preference in bidding on public works requires a $500 application fee with a renewal fee of $300. Once approved, the certificate of eligibility is valid for 1 year. Pursuant to NRS 338.147 and NRS 338.1389, the application is available after 5 years of active licensure and 5 years of paid Nevada sales and use tax and/or governmental service tax, or the obtainment of a viable operating construction firm. The application will also require a CPA affidavit. To inactivate a license, you may submit the form with no application fee. However, 50% of the active renewal fee is due at the time of renewal. A license may remain inactive for up to 8 years with no contribution to the Residential Recovery Fund. You must retain an active status with the Nevada Secretary of State. A bond and workers' compensation will not be required. You may not enter into contracts or perform construction while on inactive status. To reactivate a license, you may submit the reactivation license application. An application fee will be determined by the renewal date. With the application, current and updated financial statements based on the monetary limit are required. The contribution to the Residential Recovery Fund and an active status with the Nevada Secretary of State are also required. You must acquire a bond and workers' compensation insurance as well. Our voluntary surrender form may be submitted if you choose to cease operations under your Nevada contractor license. There is no application fee, but the form must be signed by a current principal on the license or a current officer on the Nevada Secretary of State. Applicants must submit all business financial statements in US dollars. The type of financial statement required will depend on the monetary limit requested for the license. For example, if you're aiming for a limit of $10,000, you may submit a self-prepared financial statement using our board-approved form on our website or an accounting software in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. All CPA compiled statements must be current within 6 months from the date the application is received, while reviewed or audited financial statements prepared by an independent CPA are current within 1 year from the date the application is received. Bond limits are determined by the type of license, monetary limit, and financial responsibility. The surety bond is a general requirement for contractors in Nevada. You may have the option of a cash bond with a service fee of $200 upon license renewal, as well as a residential improvement bond per Assembly Bill 39. Bond amounts may range in value from $1,000 to a maximum of $500,000. The bond amount may require adjustment after the approval of a raise-in limit. If your business plans to perform work involving residential pools or spas, additional licensing requirements may apply under NRS 624.900 and NAC 624.695. A residential improvement bond is held solely for the protection of the consumers in the amount of $100,000. This bond type is not mandatory. However, if engaging in residential improvements, contractors must abide by provisions of AB 39, Section 1, Subsection 2G. Non-compliance with regulations is always subject to disciplinary action. AB 39 authorizes the Nevada State Contractors Board to establish regulations that require specific elements to be included in contracts for certain residential improvement projects. The primary purpose of this bill is to ensure there is a consistent, mandatory set of minimum requirements across all applicable contracts, helping protect both homeowners and contractors. It requires that certain key details be clearly outlined in contracts related to residential improvements. These required elements are further detailed in Section 1 of AB 39. Additionally, the bill places limits on upfront payments. Contractors are not allowed to request more than $1,000 or 10% of the total contract price, whichever amount is less, as an initial deposit before any work begins. AB 39 applies to contractors who engage in residential improvement projects. Overall, this bill promotes transparency, fairness, and accountability within residential contracting. Assembly Bill 39 introduced additional requirements for contractors. Applicants are encouraged to review the full legislation on the Nevada State Contractors Board website. The Residential Recovery Fund provides limited financial compensation to homeowners who experience financial loss due to a licensed contractor's failure to meet contractual obligations. This fund is accessible for customers who meet the requirements and after all avenues of recovery have been exhausted. Contractors performing residential work must contribute to this fund when they receive or renew their license under NRS 624.470. The contribution amount is based on the contractor's monetary limit. Nevada law also requires a specific disclosure about the recovery fund to be included in residential contractual agreements detailing the homeowner's rights. In the scenario that a homeowner files a complaint against a recovery fund, board staff will notify the contractor about the open investigation concerning the allegations in the complaint. If a hearing is held, the board will consider all matter relevant to the complaint before issuing a decision. The contractor may be required to appear before the board to present evidence in support of or in defense of the claim. Any residential recovery fund fees paid as a result of the unlawful act by a licensed residential contractor must be reimbursed by the licensee. Contractors are responsible for reimbursing the fund for any claims awarded against their company. The statement below is required by Nevada law and must be included in all residential construction contracts pursuant to NRS 624.520. Please incorporate this language into your contracts and agreements with homeowners. Contracting without a license is a crime per NRS 624.700. A first offense charge will result in a misdemeanor, a second offense a gross misdemeanor, and a third offense is considered a Class E felony. We encourage the public to utilize our unlicensed contractor hotline regarding any concerns. Below you'll find helpful resources and links to other agencies that may be visited when making changes to your Nevada contractor license. Please contact the Nevada State Contractors Board with any questions. Important reminders to consider. Please ensure to remain truthful as misrepresentation can result in the denial of any changes to a license. Be sure to review your application prior to submittal as a complete application is the best way to reduce delays in processing. It's important to communicate with your licensing analyst in a timely manner. Our processing time frame is done on a first-come, first-served basis. Therefore, all applications are processed in date order received. Your patience is greatly appreciated. If you have any questions during the application process, please contact the Nevada State Contractors Board for assistance. Our staff can help guide you through the requirements and support you through any changes in your Nevada contractor's license. Thank you for taking the time to review this guide and best of luck in your contracting endeavors.